Good evening, everyone. A very good morning to you, Raymond.
Thank you.
Thanks for giving time from your valuable schedule and joining us live from New York. I welcome you all for our webinar. Raymond, I would like to introduce you to Amity University,
Thank
which
you.
is India's top-ranked private research and innovation-driven university, under the blessings and guidance of Honorable and Visionary Founder President Sir, respected Chancellor Sir, respected Vice Chancellor Madam. Amity University holds sixth position in global employment ranking by Times Higher Education Group UK for
Wow.
universities. Amity University is not only expanding its branches in India and overseas as well. We have 170 acres of beautiful campus in Oakdale, Long Island, that I have already shared with you.
Hmm.
I represent Amity School of Communication, which is also a premier and recognized institute in India, offering different kinds of professional courses at undergrads, postgrads, PhD level. We have also two unique courses like MBA in Media Management and three continent program where our students go to UK for 3 months, US for 3 months, where we explore exchange program in collaboration to Adelphi University in New York. And myself, Devjani Roy, I'm a senior faculty from Amity School of Communication. I have been associated with this institute for almost 2 decades, and my specialization is television news consultancy. Um, we have these two very young students from Masters, Sarah Munir and S.B. Harini. And on behalf of joint heads, faculty colleagues, students, everyone, I extend warm gratitude. Welcome to you, Raymond, for this
Thank you.
webinar. Yes, namaste. So,
Namaste. Thank you so much.
Raymond, today your talk is on social media, which is one of the largest means of communication these days, and it is gaining its popularity because it allows us to share our thoughts, content, news, information freely without
Yes.
any restrictions on a faster mode. But then to have more wider, high dimension discussions with you, I will like to hear more from you. Before that, I would introduce you to my viewers, to my audience, to my faculty, and everyone in Amity. Raymond Raw is a CEO and editor for Smart Hustles. Raymond is also an expert in entrepreneurship, well, uh, best-selling author, event producer, high demand global keynote speaker. Am I right, Raymond?
That's correct.
He interviewed former US President Barack Obama and also visited India, which he was mentioning just now about our security. Uh, he had visited India to participate in Global Entrepreneurship Summit that happened in 2019 in Hyderabad with Ivana Trump. I welcome you, Raymond, to this webinar. We look
Thank you.
forward to hear you live from New York, learn from you, and you have already offered two collaboration conferences with top-notch people from US and India. So we look forward to have that also with you. Welcome on board, Raymond. Over to you.
Thank you so much. And thank you for having me, Professor Roy. We've exchanged many, many messages. So thank you for the hard work that you put together in doing this. It's not easy to do an event like this. You know, this is a smaller one, of course, but thank you for the hard work.
My
And I
pleasure.
think clearly you're welcome. The passion that you have for your students and for Amity. So I think all of us, a virtual hand clap to you. Thank you for having me
My
here
pleasure.
and making this happen. And a big thanks to Sarah and Harini. I'm sure you have been involved in supporting Mem and helping her get this together. So it's an honor to partner with you, and it is a partnership and do this as well. So Harini, thank you. Sarah, thank you as well. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you so much.
Raymond, before you start talking on social media, I would request you to play the AV that
Yes,
you have
I'll do that
shared
now.
with me. Uh, I want my viewers, my faculty, my HOIs watch the AV and know more about you.
Absolutely. We'll do that right now. And can you all see the screen okay with, let me share that right screen. Yes. Can you see this, my
Yeah,
smiling face there?
yeah, I can see.
All
We
right,
all
all
can
right.
see.
I'm Ramon Ray, founder of Smart Hustle Magazine and smallbiztechnology.com.
You're here today to celebrate small business success. Stand up on your feet.
If you want to grow and advance in this digital revolution, in this new economy, you must be able to serve your customers as they want to be served.
Success comes from failure.
It's always about the persistence, about the grit, about the keep going, keep going, keep going.
Wow. I'm going to have to do a new one and integrate India. I hope that was okay and gave you all a little taste of who I am. Did that come through okay, Professor Roy?
Wonderful.
Awesome, awesome. So I'll begin a bit, and feel free to stop me anytime, Professor Roy or Sarah Harini. If you wish, you can just, if I don't see the chat or anything, you can wave your hand and stop me in case I don't see everything. But I'll begin for a few minutes. And thank you again all for being here. Wow, so many students are joining. And I'll be looking at the chat as best I can, especially if there's a pertinent question related to specifically what I'm saying. And I'll rely, if it's okay, on Professor Roy and Sarah and Harini to help me in that in case they want to stop me and say, Ramon, wait a minute, let's ask a question now. No problem. So it's hard to do multiple things. So students, as you're listening, please ask questions. And I will be asking you questions too. So Amity students, Professor Roy says you guys are top-notch people. Prove it. If I ask a question, I expect to see some answers from Ilea, Arti, and Ashwara, and Amrita, and Dhruv, and on and on and on. So I see you, and I know you see me, so let's keep this as interactive as we can. So let's begin. A few things I'll say right at the beginning there, and I'll talk about social media. But I think what I'll do is I'll spend 5 minutes, give or take. I'll do my best to just share a few other things, because I'm a firm believer that, and I'm sure that Professor Roy, the teachers, and Amity agree, that social media is one tiny part of our life. It's important professionally, but I think more important is what we're doing as people to live better lives. And I think to that point is, this is my family. And I would guess for all of you, family plays a very important role in what we're doing. So I just wanted to show my family. I have 2 adult children. My wife, we've been married 26 years. And so this is a little bit about me and who I am. And I wanted to make sure I conveyed that to you all. And I think the brief thing I wanted to explain is that today, we're going through a cataclysmic or a huge change in society this past year. This is not the first, but I'm curious, in the chat, how many of you right now are feeling a bit anxious? If you are, put the word anxious or concerned or worried. And if you're not, don't. But how many of you of the past year have felt some worry, some concern, some anxiousness, some sadness? Maybe you've lost family. Anybody have felt that the past few months? Let me see what the chat shows up. And you can put yes, good. Okay, thank you, Ariane. Thank you. So good. So I'm not alone. We have humans here, right, who felt this,
Yes,
Professor
yes.
Roy.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think the big thing that I call this, it's not just me calling it, this is fear. This is what we're facing. It's fear. And there's different words for that. So I just wanted to call that out, that we're all having this fear. There's nothing to be ashamed of per se. We're all going through it. But I think that what I want to emphasize or express today is that we're fearful, right? Because of the unknown. There's changes, interruptions. This is why we have this fear, which I have too. And so I think that this is important. If we recognize it, as it were, I think it will help us as we move forward in life. And I think the big question I like to express to people is, what do we do with our fear? This is the question. What are we going to do with the fear we have? And I think, Amity students, we have 2 choices. One, we can let fear be a catalyst for us. We can let fear propel us. We can let fear be, some people, you may have heard the expression, to some people, they see a wall and it's a ladder. The fear we have can be that, or it can be a crutch. So this is just some of the few things I wanted to say before I dive into social media, because I think this is most important. I want to make sure you students are okay in your heart, in your emotions. This is important. Maybe you thought your career was going to go one way and COVID happened and it's gone a different way. So that's why I wanted to bring briefly these comments out on these things. And I think I'll pause right there. But I think the other thing I do want to express is that I encourage all of us, let's get comfortable with being uncomfortable. This is important. There's no normalcy. I think life is not normal. Things will change and they will continue to change. And so my last few points on this, and I'll transition to social media, my advice, my encouragement, let's always be students who learn. Even as you get your degrees, you get your masters, your bachelors, and et cetera. Amity is a wonderful school. Be students who always have that humility and always desire to learn. And having worked with even Amity professors, they're senior people, mature people experience, they even have a desire to always learn. So you should embrace that part as well, to always be people who are learning. I read, this is actually, you can see behind me, this is some books from my small bookshelf, but I read quite a bit. And these are fresh. If you look at these books next year, you'll see different books. Some of these are my own books that I've written. So always learning, I think, is an important skill that we all can do. And I'll say 2 or 3 more points, and then we'll move on to social media. Other thing I find, students, take risks. This is important, to take risks. Very essential. Now, you notice the word in parentheses, reasonable risks. Reasonable risks is important. And I'm curious, I'm going to do something else in the chat here. How many of you how many of you are risk takers? And how many of you like to be more safe and secure? I'm going to put Harini and Sarah on the spot. You all should answer first. Don't lie. Do you find that you're a risk taker? Like if your friends say, hey, let's go here on the spur of the moment, that you go? Or do you like, no, I want to be safe? You can put it in the chat, Harini and Sarah, if you want. Or you can tell me. You can unmute and speak out, whichever one you want. How are you all? Harini?
I would say it's a bit of both, to be very honest. Because
that's a safe answer.
okay, I would say it's very scary to take risks, and I tend to overthink it a lot, and I'm pretty sure a lot of students could relate to that as well. It's
Sarah,
very
what about
scary
you?
to jump into.
I do not like taking risks at all. I like to
all right.
side always.
All right. I won't ask Professor Roy. I'll let her be safe. She's the professor today. I won't ask her that question.
Yes, Raymond, with your permission, can I also answer?
Okay, yeah, if you like, yes, please.
I am the first choice. Yes, I like to take a risk.
Okay, good. Thank you. I didn't ask you because I always try to respect the professor and not put them on the spot too much. Thank you for answering. So good. And I see in the chat here, I love taking risks. I like to feel safe. Thank you. Some people are sharing that, and we can learn. As we look at the chat, we can learn from others. So let me move quickly on here to get to social media, but take reasonable risks. The other thing that's important, really important, and not everybody likes it, sometimes you have to make a fool of yourself, be creative. Creativity and being able just to let go, not being too ashamed, that's powerful. And I know for me, that's been one of the biggest benefits of my career. Everybody's different, but I just don't care. I do not give a darn. I don't take myself too seriously. Some people, it's not good. I worked at the United Nations for many years. So there I had to temper being Ramon. You know, you're in an international organization, different cultures, but the aspect of being creative, I think, is important. A few more points, and then we'll dive in here. I think I'll stop there. I'm just looking at my notes here. I think the only thing I'll do is one thing here. I'll share this resource with you, and then we'll move on, is to encourage you to remember, I have a LinkedIn article called 3 Traits, and you all are welcome to have a look at the article. You can bookmark it, look at it now, and comment even if you want, but 3traits.com, 3 traits, you can see it there on the screen. And the bottom line when I share, and this will be my last point, is the following, is the 3 things I think that really make people a success. So by the way, who knows who's in this picture? Put in the chat if you know who's that person in the picture. It's not me, by the way. Who knows who that is? Some of the younger people may not know, but the older ones should know. Let's see if you know. The GOAT. Yes, indeed. And those who don't know, GOAT, greatest of all time, Michael Jordan. So the point here I'm saying is, I'm a firm believer, students, if you have a great attitude or character, if you work hard and you're skilled at something, that will take you far in life, far in life. And so I think I'll stop there, Professor Roy, on this part. I'm going to transition to my talk on social media, but maybe in the chat, just curious, was that helpful to anyone on this chat? Was that helpful? Was it useful, or was it like, oh, he should have skipped it? What do you think? You can vote right now. We just had US elections, so you guys can vote too. Let's see what the chat says. Okay, good. Thank you, Abe. And others are chatting in. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Thank you. Good. We got some yays. So Professor Roy, I'm going to transition to social media. We'll dive into a few key tips on there, if that's okay with you. Is that all right?
Surely. And if you want to continue your few slides on fear, stress, and threats, please go ahead, and then we can switch on to social media.
Awesome. No, yeah, we'll change now. No problem. Thank you. Good. So we'll dive in a quick turn about social media and some tips and insights. I have a full-fledged presentation that I often give on this, but I'm going to jump around just a little bit based on some things that I've heard from Harini and Sarah and others as I've been trying to serve best the Amity students. So I'll spend maybe, I'll look at my clock, 10 minutes or so, some key points, maybe 15. And then I'm going to talk the word extemporaneously. I took some notes down, talking to Harini and Sarah, and I got some other ideas. So we'll see how that goes. But for now, it'll be a little scripted. We'll dive into that. Okay, so we're transitioning to social media, and here we go. So I think when I think of the power of social media, and what I'll use here is a split screen, so I can also have my smile there and look at you all at the same time. We'll see how that works. Change my camera view a bit here. Yeah, there we go, center it. So I think it's important to note, Amity students, we are all very, very distracted. This is a fact. And speaking now, especially about the business use of social media, understanding that I'm speaking in the context that you all are students going to be working in a professional environment. So that's the context, not about doing, Harini doing a TikTok. Hey, look at me, look at me. No. I'm not teaching that right now. So I'm doing this in the context of business, as we do for professional life. So one, it's important that we understand no one cares about your business. People do not care. It may sound sad, but it's a fact. We're all very selfish people. We only care about ourselves. So the point in business, if I'm selfish, Professor Roy's selfish, Harini's selfish, Sarah's selfish, Ramona's selfish, my job as a business, I have to earn. And that's the underline that word, earn. That nobody's going to give it to you. I have to earn your attention. This is one of the big things that we're doing on social media. It's all about attention. I have a little bell here, right? Getting attention. That's it. It's attention, attention, attention. And the second part about social media, if attention is so important, it's currency. It's valuable, rupees, dollars, whatever it may be. It's that valuable. But the second thing, which I say is even possibly more important when we're working on social media is a tool of trust. And this is what people forget. The reason why, if I ask Sarah, hey, Sarah, could you give me $10 or $5 or $2 or 500 rupees? I don't know. I'm not sure. She doesn't trust me. This is why. So imagine in business, in your careers, leveraging the power of social media to close the trust gap. Close the trust gap. Professor Roy knows journalism, and Sarah was saying that was one of her things she wants to do. And by the way, how many of you on here want to be a TV anchor one day? Be honest. Those of you don't say yes. But if you want to be a TV anchor, put the word TV. I'm curious how many want to be, hello, my name is. Let's see all the TV anchors. Well, okay. Wow, Professor Roy, look at this chat. Okay, everybody wants to be a TV anchor. All right, this is good.
Raymond, I'd like to share with you, whenever we all faculty sit for interview boards, and the first time we meet our students there, and we ask the first question that, why are you opting for this journalism course?
Okay.
The first answer is, we want to be Barkha Dart, we want to be Rajdeep Sardesai, we want to be Ari Zolden. So
Yes.
and that is the best part of their answer, which we appreciate and we quickly absorb them, because I think they have those qualities which can, after pursuing this course, they can be groomed professionally.
Wow. That is powerful. Congratulations to you all for that. Thank you for sharing it. So listen, and even though I'm not a TV anchor per se, as you all see from my bio, I've been on TV many, many times. And today the word TV, it's still credibility and trust, but this is TV to a degree, right? I just didn't do my hair today. But either way, I'm probably going to do it afterward. So moving on along here. So trust is very, very important. The other thing I think that's important as we think of social media in business, 4 key things that I advise us to consider, no matter what your career is going to be, but as you're dealing with social media, it's the power of being an educator. That's 1. Using the power of content to build your brand. That's 2. Point 3, using the power of content to build your community. This is important, building your community. And the 4th thing, nurturing this community to a sale, especially in business. And I want to underline this because there's a lot of different reasons for social media, but and listen, as you go along in your studies, different professors are going to tell you a variety of things. So there's no one right answer. There's no one way to do it. But in this short time we have, this is Ramon's version of the world. My book, right, is all about, some of you may have seen it, Celebrity CEO. This is what Celebrity CEO is about. So this aspect of community, let me just explain that a bit. We need to make money in business. This is for sure. And I hope some of you have taken business classes, entrepreneur classes. I know Amity has those things. So you should also, by the way, all of you media students, I encourage you, get a little bit of business. No matter what your class is, be diversified. You don't just want to be an anchor or no social media. Understand money. That's very important. So my point being, though, instead of me saying, Professor Roy, could you buy from me? Could you buy from me? She doesn't know me. She doesn't trust me. I haven't earned the right to ask. But as I say, the power of social media is I can get her attention. I can build trust, or as I say, ask for a smile before a sale. As we build the relationship, now I've earned the right, in this metaphor, to ask for money, if that makes sense, So I'm compressing this, but this, in my version, is really the power of how to leverage social media, especially as you all mature in your career for business. So let me move on, because I want to share 2 examples of how that worked pretty popularly in the US. And again, if you have questions related to what I'm saying, feel free to put it in the chat, talk to Professor Roy or Harini or Sarah, and I'm happy to stop immediately. I have some pictures of things that I've done. I'll just show one of these because I have it in front of me. It's kind of fun. This is a picture of me testifying to the U.S. Congress. That was really fun. This is a picture of me here. I interviewed the president. Oh, that's the picture of Professor Roy. I interviewed President Barack Obama on the picture on the right. President Barack Obama interviewed him. And then on the left, the right side picture, I cropped it out. But you can see, if you look closely, Ivanka Trump smiling. The guy behind her is smiling, but you can see the 2 security officers, the American guy, serious face, and the lady in the bottom left, she was not happy with me at all. But I had to do what I had to do. I wanted my picture. So that's the picture Professor Roy was referring to when they were a bit not happy with me. So let me move on here. Okay, so social media. Why content marketing? As I said, let me go back to that. So why content marketing? And the number one thing, and this is a picture of me with an Amity student, is to build community and convert the community to customers. This is the power of social media, to build your community and convert that community to customers. This is why you want to use social media, okay? So remember as well, people are pretty much doing one of 2 things online. They could be doing more, but they're generally doing one of 2 things. People are searching for entertainment or information. You're all doing it in some way, or we're connecting, right? I'm sure all of you did that today. Hey, mom, hey, dad, did you see this video? Did you see that video, right? Or we're searching, what time is the store open? What time does the store close? Whatever it may be. So we're doing one of these 2 things, searching for information or we're connecting with other people. That's why it's called social media. And as I often say, using social media, we want to make sure that we educate first and sell second. This is one of the essential, powerful ways to get the most out of social media. Another tip I want to leave you with that I found over the years, 4 key ways to leverage the power of social media that I tell people who are just starting out. It's about frequency, relevancy, engagement, and analytics, measuring what you're doing. This is the key. Those 4 simple things, if you remember nothing else today: frequency, relevancy, engagement, analytics. That acronym stands for FREA, F-R-E-A. Okay? So if you keep that in mind, that's one of the simplest ways of social media. So let me walk you through, I think, just quickly, 8 key things that I find that's important with social media. And then I want to get into some examples, and then hopefully we'll turn it over back to Professor Roy and we can have some dialogue or Q&A. So one, and I'll put I'm going to put the screen up here again, is be a giver. Too many people on social media, all they do is take. And thank you, Gargi. I see your question there. We'll come to that as well. So Professor Roy and her team can help me remember that. So be a giver. Too many times it's about me. It's about us. But if you want to succeed on social media, I have to make it about Professor Roy. I have to make it about Harini. I have to make it about Sarah, not about me. Yeah, it's my business, but I have to make sure that I serve their needs first and foremost. So that's one. Point number 2, use social media insights to market to your customers. And if you hear a little bit of noise, I apologize. It snowed yesterday in this area, so the plows are out. So if there's a little noise, forgive me. So use social media, not just to talk, but to find out who your customer base is, right? If I was in India, and I don't know a lot about India, but for example, this is a silly example, do my customer base like biryani or do they like naan? If it's Ramon, all of the above. So my point being is that that's a silly example of how you want to consider. Are they in Southern India or Northern India, Western India, Eastern India? You feel what I mean, that kind of thing. Male, female, what is their passion? So you can use social media not just to talk, but to gather insights as well. So I'm going to move on to a few things here. Third thing I think for social media that can be really powerful, and this is simple, just use good headlines. This is a simple tactic, but oftentimes we forget that we need to, all of you have phones. Everybody's doing this, right? I'm gonna put my screen back to the one shot. Everybody's doing this. That's all we're doing online, scrolling. What are you doing to get people to stop the scroll? This is what you want to do. And one way to get people to stop the scroll is by using a good headline. This is important. So how can you be brief, short, to the point as you're thinking? If you think of a newspaper headline, they don't go on long. They just get right to the point. Then you can read for more. Okay? So use good headlines. Also, I find that as I'm posting online, starting with a short summary can help sometimes, because then it gives people insight into what comes further. 4th point, being responsive is important. I find many times that in businesses, they're wondering, why is no one engaging with me? Why is my social media following not growing? Because you're not being responsive. You're not talking. So Harini, can you go off mute? And I want you to start talking to me. Ask me questions.
Okay. So ask you questions related to anything?
Anything. You can ask me anything. When I cut my hair, what I like to eat, doesn't matter. Just ask me questions. Keep asking me.
Okay, so what's your favorite food to eat for dinner?
Very uncomfortable, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. My point is, this is what social media is like. People, thank you. You can go back on me. Thank you. I wanted to show this aspect of being responsive. Many times we don't do this, where it's a one-way conversation. So I just wanted to crystallize and show, if you're on social media, you have to engage back with your audience. This is what it's like. It was a silly example, but you saw how Harini asked me a question. I was just in space. This is what it's like online. If people are tweeting at you, engaging with you, posting about you, commenting, you need to do that back. or it can be very uncomfortable and people will leave. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. And regular engagement, thank you, Shruti, for asking that. Why is it necessary? Because it's social. This is why, Shruti, and thanks for asking. Meaning, if you're not engaging, we're humans, Shruti. And I know you know this, but thank you for the question. We're humans. So I smile at Professor Roy. She's going to smile back. You can't help it. So this is why. And social media is very similar. Sometimes what I call, see, somebody was just probably engaging with me right now. I call this sometimes vomiting on social media. Blah. That's all we do. Blah, blah. But it's not two ways. So I'm getting sidetracked. Let me move forward here and keep sharing, and then we'll leave it open to more questions. Okay, so visually engaging is important. If anybody who's Googled me and has a sense of what I do, this may not be for everybody, I understand. Let's take Amity University. It's a serious college. I don't expect the media team, hey, to go crazy. I get it. But my point is, whatever visual means for you in your business, if you understand what I mean, you're a coffee shop, you should have a fun, you follow what I mean. So my point is that part of this aspect of stopping the scroll, part of the aspect of capturing attention is that visual engagement. Have fun with your content's important as well. I want to get through some key points because I want to leave plenty of time for dialogue. So let me move through some things here. I have this one here. Babies don't belong in profile photos. Oftentimes we get so caught up in our family, and let's take Sarah. Sarah has her uncle, her cousin, her friend, her mother, her father, her best friend, her other friend, her college friend, a professor, and she has it on her social media. Which one is Sarah? I don't know. So it's a silly example. I like babies, I like kids, but sometimes we have too much other stuff, and I don't know. The tip here, just have a nice picture of your face. That's it, you know? Or sometimes people want to do two cool pictures. This is the important part. One of the most important parts. As you're thinking of how to use social media, tell a story. And thank you, Subramani. I appreciate it. Said good points. Thank you. Tell a story. This is important. We are hungry for stories. Everybody has a story, correct? I'll take the case of Joe Biden and Donald Trump. I'm not going to get political, but just as an example. One said, make America great again. That was the story. What can we hang our hats around, right? One said, build back better. You follow what I mean? So this is not political at all, but I'm just trying to give you a sense. We all have a story to tell. And the more you as students can help tell a story, the better you'll succeed. Customers, industry news, your products and services. Sometimes going back to my silly coffee cup example, we focus on selling the coffee, selling the cup. Professor Roy, here's my cup. Professor Roy, here's my cup. Professor Roy, here's my cup. When instead, here's how I'd sell the cup to Professor Roy. Professor Roy, when I was a child, every day my grandfather would bring me chai. He'd put his hand on my shoulder. He'd say, Ramon, you can do good, young man. Here's chai. He did that for 22 years. And every day, he would give me the red coffee cup with chai. So Professor Roy, this cup is only $49. But if you buy it today, I'm teasing on that, joking. With the point I'm making, you see how I crafted the story. I didn't just sell the cup. I won her interest in my grandfather and chai. That's a silly example, but I think you all get what I mean. And I see the questions coming in. Keep them coming in. I love it. I love it. I love it. And we'll address those in a minute. So moving on. I think a last 1 or 2 points, Professor Roy, just to give you a heads up, and then I'll be done in about 5 minutes or so, maybe, I think, is the power of audio and video. This is essential. I'm curious, how many on here do video or podcast or something on a regular basis? If you do, can you put like video in the chat? I'm just curious how many do it on a regular basis. And if you don't, put don't. Let's see who do and who don't. Be honest. Don't lie. I can detect the lie. Okay, video. Ishan. Good. Swani. I clicked the image. Good. Okay. John V. Yes. Okay. Shruti. Okay, good. So a lot of people are doing video. Okay. Mahini, don't on a regular basis. Muskan, thanks for confessing that. That's good. Okay, good. So we get a sense in the middle. So here's why video and audio are very important. Video humanizes your brand. Take Amity University. I'm saying this respectfully now. Amity is nothing. It's a logo. It's a building. What makes Amity important? You all. It's the people. Without people, without the smile, hey, we're students, we're the professors. What is Amity? and you get what I mean, I'm saying that in a good way, is that video brings it to life. So think of the businesses you all will be in the next 2 years, 4 years, 5 years. As you're using these tools now, video brings each one of you to life. 3 types of video that I encourage you all to consider. 3 types of video, and I'll make this a bit bigger here. One, there's what I call the sizzle or glamour video. That's the video, you know, where Sarah's hair is floating in the wind. Hi, my name is Sarah. How are you today? You know, you have the education video. In the education videos where Harini's there maybe once a week. Hey, this is Harini. I'm going to teach you X, Y, Z, meaning education's doesn't have to be glamorous. It's not professional. Then you have the personal video. Let's say Professor Roy, this is where she gets home. She's, you know, chilling in her living room. Hey, this is Professor Roy. I've had a good day today. I'm going to sip some, I don't know, Coca-Cola and blah, blah, blah. If you get this, what I'm trying to say is that one is a little more professional, polished, like my video I showed earlier. The other one is the education video, where that's more regular. And the third, get a bit personal. Like here, I'm showing, some of you may know I diet and I try to eat healthy. So here I'm having 7 chocolate chip cookies and milk. That's my diet that I have on a regular basis. Some of you may have got that joke. Okay, so moving on here. Harini got that. So moving on. Social media. What else here? 3 types of post. Let me bring this screen here, and we're going to wrap up in a bit, and I want to take your questions. Another thing that you can do is to create your own show. And this is where you may want to have kind of like a regular, you know, Sarah, I think you said you want to have your own show and things like this one day. You can have your own show now. Don't wait for somebody else. All you students now can have a regular channel online now. So I think what I'm going to do is wrap this portion up for now, because I want to get to something else. Yeah, I want to get to something else. So we'll see how this goes. And I want to show you 2 examples. Let me close out this portion here. So I'm going to see how this works, Professor. Let's see. I want to show you a case study. So here I'm going to do here, and then I want to turn it over to you, Professor. So I'm going to do share screen. Hopefully this works. Share. Can you see that already? Can you see Nathan, AKA Dogface? Can you see that?
Yeah, we can see.
I'm gonna hit play and see how the chat, if you can tell. If you don't know, it's okay. But who can tell what he's drinking? Does anybody see that? Let me go back to anybody can tell what he's drinking. And Sarah or Harini, if you know, you can just unmute because I can't see the chat on my view. Or Professor Roy, if you want to answer it too. Who can tell what he's drinking? Anybody can see that? And if you can't, it's okay. You may not. I don't know if they sell this brand even in India. What is it?
I don't know about the brand, but I think it's some kind of juice, cranberry
Yes.
juice.
He's selling cranberry juice. I mean, he's drinking cranberry juice. So let me set up the what happened here. So this guy's social media handle is Dogface. That's his name. That's what he called it. And since he called it, I'm going to move a bit further. You can tell it. Am I right? Cranberry juice. Exactly, Garvita. Thank you. So he looks pretty rough. Can I be honest? Am I right? He looks pretty rough. Missing some teeth, got tattoos. You know, he looks almost like me, right? So not quite, but almost. So I'm just teasing. So this guy's a skateboarder. You know, he's a rough guy. Right? Am I right, Sarah? Relatively rough, right? Probably not the kind of, you know, I can't see Sarah like, ooh, could I have your number? Could I date you? Can't see that happening. Maybe, you never know. So point being is that he's drinking a bottle of cranberry juice. Now, the company who makes the cranberry juice is $1 billion brand. Their target market are ladies, 20 to 60, have kids. Maybe they work from home, maybe they don't, but you get the demographic I'm saying, right? It's not like it's Red Bull or Coca-Cola. They bought him a new Jeep or a truck because he's drinking cranberry juice. This video took off. So the lesson for this that I can take away, part of social media, you have to be able to capture the moment quickly, be able to see the opportunity, and be able to take a bit of risk. This guy looks pretty rough. He's skateboarding, not their target audience. But they said, he is drinking cranberry juice on TikTok and all video. Let's get behind it. So to me, that encapsulates everything I've said today. It's visuals. It's short. It tells a story. They were a bit risky. And I think this is one thing we can do as we look. Exactly. Jyoti says that juice got famous after this video. Correct. And normally, if they were in a room full of people thinking about it, right, as we normally do, Well, in America, we have names like Bob and Joe. So, well, Bob, he doesn't look like he's in our target audience. Well, Joe, he's not a woman. Huh. Oh, look at the tattoos. I don't know if that was good for our brand. He's missing teeth. Oh, we probably can't have him. That's normally how it would have been, right? If they were looking through pictures, picking a model. But their team went with it. And as even Jyoti saw that, right? So I think I'll pause there, Professor Roy. I hope this was okay and useful to somebody, but how would you like us to go further, Professor Roy? I'll work with you.
Raymond, if you ask the truth, I think we love to hear you rather than taking question answer
Okay.
session. And of course, there's a question from my end. Most of our students, alumni, they opt for startups, and
Okay.
you are a super boss of all startups. So can you share some thoughts, some experiences, some ideas for their success, so that we can hold their hand and promote them in their future?
Absolutely. Thank you for the question. So I think a few things for startups, and I think this goes, Professor Roy, for any business. We are in an attention cave, meaning a noise cave. There is so much noise all over. This, the election, this. I'm sure in India, right? There's probably 10 things. You know what? I'm going to do it right now. Give me a, I'm going to go to the headline of an Indian newspaper right now. Let's just look at some headlines that are happening in India right now. And I hope, I won't say the full headline because I don't want to get political. I want to respect people, but meaning headlines: farmers, Delhi Assembly, Allahabad HC, farmers again, Yogasana, ISRO launches country's 42nd communication satellite. Right, Professor Roy? These are just some headlines that some of the words, I may not know what's going on, but I bet half the people here, as I was saying it, they knew what the headline was about. My point being, we are in a world of noise. So for those of you who are startups, one of the worst things and deadliest things I think that you can do is to be too safe. You can't afford to be safe. There's too many safe people who are in their comfort zone. You have to think different, think outside the box. And also I would say, Professor Roy and Amity students, don't just focus on thinking of what's usual. Oftentimes we say, we're selling, going to my cup example, we're selling, red coffee cups. Therefore, it must be a certain way. It doesn't have to be. So I think that's one. I think the second thing to the startups, be very, very, very clear. In fact, I'm going to ring a bell on that. Very clear on who your target customer is. Sometimes I see too many businesses. And I'm going to stick to my cup example. That's okay. Everybody who wants to drink coffee, or everybody who wants to drink chai, it's too broad. It's too big. Everybody's not the same. Just look at the screen here. Me, Professor Roy, Harini, and Sarah. 4 different people. We're 4 humans. We're 4 breathing people, but you have 3 lovely females and 1 male. That's one difference. You have people who are living in 2 different continents. That's another difference. And I bet even if Sarah and Harini, both smiling and lovely ladies, I bet they're 2 vastly different interests. One may love cricket, one may love football. You get my point. So startups, understand very clearly who you are serving, and understand on social media very clearly, what problem are you solving? This is essential. Oftentimes we get confused what problem we're solving. In my industry, I'll talk a little bit about how I've been blessed to be successful over the past few years. It's taken me a while to be comfortable in who I am. Now, in this case, I'm in partnership with Amity, working with Professor Roy. She was kind enough to ask. I'm, as it were, teaching, as it were, right? Sharing. So this is not normally what I do for a living, for a job. So sort of. But I realized that I am first and foremost, don't tell anybody this, it's a secret. I'm an entertainer. This is what I am. That's it. And I've been comfortable with it. It's taken me a while. I happen to know about business. I've started 4 companies. I've sold 2 of them. I happen to know about publicity. Obviously, I've been in the New York Times, Wall Street Journal, all over the place, radio, TV, all over. But I realized that my special gift, why people are hiring me, SAP, Salesforce, Microsoft, Dell, all these brands, I even work with Indian companies, is because the special thing I provide, they want entertainment first and foremost. They want people to feel inspired. That's what I do. So to the startups, once you're clear in what you do, and I would say, Professor Roy, be clear in who you are on social media and even who you're not. This is important. I get a lot of calls. Hey, Ramon, we're having a 6-hour seminar about how to use LinkedIn. Not for me. I refer them to somebody else. You want to go deep dive into LinkedIn or something else? I can do it. Of course I know LinkedIn. Of course. But it's not my gift. It's not my specialty. So that was a longer answer, Professor Roy, but I think that's really one thing I'd love, if you don't mind, maybe we can do that, Professor Roy. Feel free to ask another follow-up and we can do that. But I think that that's the biggest gift to startups, knowing who your customer is, who it's not, and talk their language. I was going to tell you a story, but I won't tell you the story. Unless you guys want to hear the story, then you can put it in the chat. So Professor Roy, it's back to you for a minute.
Raymond, as you said that these are your qualities that you have experienced when you opted for startup. But then for our students who are just college pass outs, and they always have this question in mind that, ma'am, if I am not successful after opting this decision, so what should be the answer for them?
I love it. And again,
how will you boost their
sure.
emotions and career perspectives?
No, thank you so much. And I know there's a lot of pressure in the students. And if you will allow me to be vulnerable and very frank. So let me see in the chat. May I have that permission to be very brutally honest? So
Yes.
Let me see the word. Okay, but I need a vote, Professor Roy. Let me see. I need to see the word honest in the chat. If not, then I'll just lie.
We love to see your honesty, because you are very honest.
Okay, so here's what I'm saying. Good, here we go. I know, because many of my friends, I'll use the word Asian, Greater Asia. And I think all of you will agree, there's a lot of pressures from auntie and uncle and mom to succeed. So thank you, Harini and Sarah nodding like yes. So I know this is a fact. The American experience and pressure, especially for Black American experience, we have pressure too. It's just different. So there's a lot of pressure on that. So I think some of that could come from this. But let me give you some comfort. One, the slide I showed before, I can't guarantee it, but if you have good character, the experience I have working with Amity, it's all, as an example. Well, let me say the 3 points again: good character, hard work, and a skill. So I'm going to review that. So my point being, I don't think you can fail if you excel in those 3 areas. It's almost impossible. And I'm going to give, again, a props or compliment Amity in my experience. Every experience I have with Amity, which is why I always have said yes, has been absolutely first class professional. From the professors, obviously Professor Roy, she's an accomplished professional, it's a given. And even though the students, Harini and Sarah greeting me as I came on board, even Puneet, the IT guy, right? So my point being, that goes back to character. You can go anywhere with good character, anywhere. You're undefeatable. And the reason why is because there's a lot of morons in the world. So people like us who have good character, we will always succeed. And the second thing, if you are willing to outwork anyone else, you cannot fail. I will always outwork my competition, always. What time was I here, Harini and Sarah and Puneet? I was here, you don't have to tell me, you don't have to go off mute, but I was here at about 8:30 on the dot in New York time. So my point is, I will outwork anybody. And point 3, be skilled at something. And now this is where students, I cry very easily. So excuse me if I cry sometimes. I just cry, I love life. I've got to take Sarah as an example. She wants to be I can say publicly, right, Sarah? That's not a secret. Okay,
Of
good. I don't know.
course,
Sarah might say,
of
don't tell everybody. So let's say Sarah wants to be an anchor, right? And I'm sure Professor Roy has all these connections with that's why you students, all the students here are in this. Many of you, well, not only Sarah, many of you want to be a TV anchor. And I've never been one. Professor Roy probably has a lot of experience. She can give you all the tips. Point being, it's hard work. Am I right, Professor Roy?
Of course.
It's not just, putting hair and makeup. Hi, I'm here ready. Put the cameras on. No. Do you understand your audience, the cadence, how you're doing it, the empathy, being able to, a lot. So my point being, outwork everybody else. So I'll pause there, but students, I wouldn't be worried because you're right. I'm sure even being in the communication, I'm only guessing. So if I'm right, put right when I say this a minute, but I'm guessing even many of your parents have said, oh, you want to be in communication? Why aren't you being a doctor or an engineer? Why be a stupid communication major? There's no money. We're going to be poor. Am I right or am I wrong? I could be wrong. So I'm right. So my point being, you will succeed, but you also have to put in the work. If you don't put in the work, you do not earn the right to be successful. And don't come back to Professor Roy and your other teachers and say, Professor, I spent all this money. I've been all these years. I'm a failure. Nobody hired me. I bet because you didn't have character somewhere, you didn't work hard somewhere enough, or you weren't skilled. And let's remember as well, the art of emotional intelligence. There's other people on here, Professor Roy nodding her head, who can explain it much better than me. But this aspect of emotional intelligence is important because it's not just the technical things. Everybody can do that. But it's how do you smile? How do you approach? How do you respect? How do you have empathy? How do I recognize, oh, this person's from Russia. This person's from Poland. This person's from South Africa. This is the being able to have that emotional awareness of where I am and who I am and back and forth. This goes far. And especially in communication, our job, communication students, our job is to tell the story. This is our job. Doctors fix bodies. We need them. God bless them. Engineers build bridges, build buildings. God, we need them. Yes. Politicians lead our countries. We need them. Our job, our calling, our mission is to be storytellers. No matter behind the video camera, in front, we're all in the same family, if you get my point. No matter your job. And some of you may not want to be on TV. You may not want to be in front of the camera. That's okay. It doesn't matter. As a family, we're storytellers. Never forget that. Never forget that. That's the biggest gift you can be to India, to Amity, to the world. Forget India, to the world. So let me pause there. I hope that wasn't too long, Professor Roy.
It's so amazing that I don't want to say that we open the house for question answer. We want to hear you more. So should I open the house for question answer?
I would say, or if you have a follow-up or somebody has a specific question, I can do that and talk a bit more on these specific questions. No problem, if that's helpful. Yeah.
Of course. And Sarah, I would like you to take the first question.
Sure.
Sure, sir. So the first question here is, why does one proceed if one has limited time or resources for social media marketing?
That's a great question, Sarah. So Sarah, I'm going to put you on the spot. If you don't mind, is that okay, Professor Roy? Can I put the students on the spot?
I think Sarah, I will send her CV to you to observe her as an intern under you.
All right. So Sarah, my question back to you, I have the answer, but my question back to you, Sarah, and it's more philosophical. What is time? And I'm not putting you on the spot. Don't be too challenged, Sarah. I'm having fun. But for you, what is time to you? What does time mean?
Time is, I'll say, relevant. I'll just say that. Time is relevant.
That's all I was looking for. Thank you. That's exactly what's going to be my answer. And here's why I say it, Sarah, and thank you for who asked it and others chiming in. Feel free to send your questions in. So my point is with time. I'm asked this question, Sarah, so much, is that I'm so busy. I have so much to do. How can I do social media? You have time to breathe. You have time to eat. You have time to use the bathroom. You have time to play video games. You have time to go with your girlfriend or your boyfriend or whatever, your wife, your husband, whatever it is. We have time for all these things. We have time to go to Auntie's birthday party. Huh? You didn't want to go. You didn't want to go, but Auntie said, oh, Sarah, can you come by? Okay, Auntie, I'll come. So my point is social media, it doesn't have to take a lot of time. Sarah and Harini and Professor Roy saw me. What did I do as we were doing it? In fact, all of you should do it now. Not those who are hosting us, but you can take your phone. I've just taken 2 seconds and I'll do it right now. Here we go. While I'm talking, I'm going to go this, share, boom, story, right? And I've shared the video now to Instagram story. So my point being, Sarah, it takes a lot of time, but I think it's something we have to build into what we're doing in order to succeed. And part of this is a whole nother talk. When I come to India, I'll do a talk on this, Professor Roy, is being able to have time management. You have to prioritize. So in order to say yes to something over here, my job is I want to be a TV anchor. I want to succeed in communication. That means you have to say no when your friends say, hey, we're having chai and biryani. You want to come by? Thank you, but no, I can't because I'm going to be a TV anchor in 5 years. That's it. So that's my answer.
That was an amazing answer, sir. Actually, it made a lot of things very clear.
Thank you. Thank you. What's the next question?
So a follow-up to this question is how would you decide which platform to choose for your business or profile, and which would you say is the most engaging one, or the one where there's a lot of responses?
Wonderful question. And the platform to decide is what is the platform where your customers are at. That's the platform to use. You can't force people. So I would say that especially for business, or it could be for students, because I suspect here we're answering to two audiences, I believe, right? We're answering to students who want to use social media better for their lives, but also hopefully guidance in students who are interning and having careers in other companies. So my point, Harini, is that the platform to use is measure where are your people at? Are they on Pinterest? Are they on Facebook? Are they on Instagram? Are they on TikTok? If we're in China, right? Or I don't know if it comes to India as well, but are we in some of the Chinese platforms, right? And I think does India have some of their own platforms as well? Or do you all use the global platforms, Harini or Professor Roy?
We mostly use those global.
Okay, yeah, I wasn't sure. So China's I think the only one.
But I'm sure you must be knowing that our Prime Minister says now you make the local vocal, not global.
Right, of course, right. But I know him and Mark Zuckerberg are buddies too. So Mark is very scared. Mark doesn't want Modi to cut Facebook off. So, but yes, for sure.
But our Prime Minister is very arrogant. He'll not allow Mark to cut his line out.
So they'll have to have some chai and biryani and curry with naan together one day. But point is though, yes, you can't force your customer, Professor Roy, and thank you, Harini. It's really about knowing where the most of your customers are at and what's best for them. Everybody's not on Facebook. Everybody's not on Pinterest. And guess what? Let's not forget alternative platforms. Social media is just one tool. Email marketing may work. Texting may work. So I think it's about measuring what works best and what has the best return.
Till the time Harini and Sarah takes questions from our students, can I ask one question to you, Remy?
Absolutely.
My question to you is, sometimes I was reading an article on search engine optimization related to social media. So Raymond, how important is this for us to learn this search engine optimization to learn social media activities?
Sure. Great question. Here's what I think. I think that one, it's very important that we as communicators understand just how to capture attention overall, not being technical, just how to write brief and engaging. And that, of course, as you know, Professor, copywriting. So those of you students who have not taken copywriting courses, understand copywriting. That's not writing. Copywriting is a specialty. So I think learn that first and foremost. SEO, I think, absolutely is important. But I find that especially on Google's one of the most popular search engines in the world on Google. So my answer is yes, understand SEO, but as of those of you who mature in your companies, you may not have to be an SEO specialist. You may want to hire somebody for that in your roles, meaning as you have a budget and as you have a team, let's say Amity. Professor Roy doesn't necessarily have to be an SEO specialist. She can hire the SEO specialist for an engagement, if that makes sense what I'm saying. So, but yes, it's very important, because what do we do in the morning? One, we check our feeds, but then all of us are searching. Is this open? Where can I get a haircut? What's the best, thing to use, or things like that. Everybody's searching. And so I think when you're searching, if you want the result to go up, SEO comes into play. So SEO, yes, is important. It changes though all the time. So you have to be up and skilled on SEO. Great question.
Thank you.
Here's another question that we got in the question answer. How can we build a community or contact on social media?
Yeah, community building, Sarah, listen, is important. It's everything. And thank you for whoever asked the question. So I think building community, some of you may know Seth Godin, a very popular marketer in the US. Professor Roy knows him. Oh, by the way, I have a course with Seth Godin, Professor Roy. I'll tell you that later, a course with him. But here's how to build community. You can't force, Sarah, people to want to flock to you. You can't. But what Sarah can do is metaphorically raise a flag and say, hey, listen, I'm Sarah. I'm writing about Bollywood. I'm just making it up, some silly things, but meaning I'm talking about how to do my hair, or talking about whatever. So Sarah, if you don't mind, tell me one thing that's of interest to you, one fun thing that you like to do, if you don't mind. Tell me something you're interested in.
Maybe dancing.
Okay, dancing. So for example, any particular type of dancing? Anything? Okay.
Freestyle, I'd say.
Good, freestyle dancing. So hey, I'm Sarah. Every Saturday at 2 p.m., I'm going to do a video or teach you how to do freestyle dancing. That means Ramon's not going to be there. That's okay. Harini's not going to be there. But Professor Roy's going to be there because she's a freestyle dancer. Every Saturday, she's going to show up and be there. My point being, you build community by showing up. You build community by being consistent. You build community by letting people know, here's what I am, here's what I stand for. Those who want to rally around me, feel free to come. And I think that's the best way to build community. And keeping in mind as well, everybody's not for it. And sometimes people won't even ask. They don't know what to ask. And I think that's the important thing about community. So that's how I say to build community. I think remember, if you're waiting for someone to give you permission, it's never going to come. It's never going to come. And I'll give one more example, Sarah, and thank you for asking. I did an event in April called Survive and Thrive Summit. Everybody's doing online events, but if you recall, this was just weeks into the coronavirus shutdown. I was a bit worried. How will I feed my family? What will I do? We all, these are serious concerns. But my event was 5 hours. I sat in this chair 5 hours. I didn't move, and I did a live show. Thousands of people showed up. My point being, it's not a direct answer, Sarah, to your question, but kind of, is that community building. Nobody asked, you know what? I want to Survive and Thrive Summit. Nobody asked, Ramon, make it 5 hours. No, I made it up. Remember, I talked about being creative. So that's helpful, that sometimes community building, going to your freestyle dance, right? There's so much opportunity in that. Maybe you have the freestyle dance awards. Maybe you have the freestyle dance underwater. I don't know. So if that's helpful.
That's really helpful. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
So one of the students are asking that how frequently does one need to post on their social media to gain more engagement, and how to exactly engage with your followers, throwing back to what you said about just being responsive and engaging, how to be more engaging without being too intrusive.
That's a great question. So Harini, should we play another game together, Harini? Should we do that?
So,
You're not annoyed with me?
not at all, sir.
Okay. So let me see. Harini.
Yes, sir.
Harini. Hey, Harini.
Hi,
Harini.
sir.
Harini. Hey, Harini. Harini. Hey. Harini. Hey. Harini. Harini. Hey, Harini. Hey, hello. That's annoying. Very annoying, right? But in this silly example, annoyance is when you're nagging somebody. It's too much. They don't really want it. But I have a friend of mine, Harini. She made 30 telephone calls to a potential customer, 30. But every call she made about once a week was different. Hi, Irini, how are you? This is Ramon. I know you haven't gotten back to me. I wanted to sell you these flowers and I was curious if you wanted it. Next call. Irini, happy birthday. This is Ramon. I just wanted to say happy birthday to you. I hope you and your family are well. Third call. Hey, Irini, it's December. Wow. My point being, you can be frequent, but each of your touch points, you can add value. Each of your touch points, if you've defined the right customer, this is, Irini, where people go wrong oftentimes. We try to blab or try to sell to everybody. You follow what I mean? And
Yeah.
that's where it becomes annoying. And I'm going to mention chai again. All of you are grown up on chai, used to it. For me, it's special because in the US, a little different. I think most of you understand what I'm saying. So if you hear me use examples, I'm using it because I have a Western American mentality. So forgive me for that, but I say it in respect. So let's take chai. Many of our friends happen to be from India. Many of our friends, they don't know it. I go to their house just to have chai. But the point is that everybody, though, doesn't like chai, does it? Everybody doesn't. Maybe in India, but in the US, everybody doesn't like it. So my point being, that's where targeting. But if somebody's talking to me who likes chai, maybe I don't want chai now. That doesn't mean I never want it. I may want it tomorrow. Maybe I don't want it before dinner. Maybe I want it after dinner. So I hope that silly example makes sense is what I'm trying to say. Annoyance often happens when I'm targeting the wrong person. But if I'm being creative, if I'm changing my message up, if I'm educating them as I'm going along, being a bit engaging, having fun, eventually they're going to buy. Eventually. And so my point is, part of the aspect of being too frequent, it's annoying when you, like I did with you, Irini, you know, like the child, mommy, 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 mommy. Oh boy. However, so I think I made my point. So, and I say also posting frequency. Listen, these are broad strokes. Email newsletter, I like once a week. On my Twitter feed, people can look at it, Ramon Ray. I post several times a day, 5 to 10 times a day on Twitter. Instagram, probably don't do that more than twice or 3 times because of how the algorithm goes. You don't want to have your feed, your Instagram, you don't want your feed to be in Professor Roy's Instagram feed. You know, it's all she sees. That's annoying. Instagram, Twitter's made different. Facebook, very similar. So I think for me, Twitter is made rapid digest, short snippets. It goes out so much, you'll miss it. But most of the other platforms, you want to have a bit of more careful how it's going.
Okay, sorry for asking another question to this. But since you mentioned algorithms, one of the students have mentioned how the social media algorithms are constantly changing, right? So is there any way to crack this algorithm and keep up with it and still stay relevant without, like, you know, kind of tanking when the algorithm changes?
I think for the billion dollar brands, I'm sure there's some way, but you'll never crack the algorithm. It's too closely guarded, and I think it changes too frequently. But I'm telling you, the best way to crack the algorithm is just to produce good content. This is the best way. Many people get hung up on how to do something sneaky. Let's take taking tests at Amity, right? There's 2 ways you can take tests at Amity. One, okay, Professor Roy's not looking. Her bag is right there. Okay, you distract Professor Roy. I'll go in, lift her bag, take the test. You follow what I mean? I'm teasing here. That takes too much stress, so much headache, so much angst, when you could just study. Just study. So my point is, the best way I think to succeed online is to just produce good content. And one thing I will share with you, Irini, is to that point. There's a book here by my friend. His name is Marcus Sheridan. The name of the book is They Ask, You Answer. No magic to it, no secrets. It's about answering the questions that your customers have. So let's say Amity University, for example, if I was in the marketing department, marketing the school. Let's say you're targeting marketing to American students. You follow my example. I'm just having fun here. But what are the questions they're going to ask? What is the enrollment date? What are the fees? When can I get a refund? What is housing? Do you provide bedding? Do you not? How do I get back and forth to school? What's the security like? Right? Can my parents visit? Can they not? Can I have friends over? So my point being, that is the best way to crack the algorithm. Just serve your customers. I'm a husband of 26 years. I can read all kind of books, all kind of cool ways. Okay, have flowers for my lady at 3 p.m. every Friday. Yeah, could be. But if I just smile, brush my teeth, give her a kiss, serve her, we'll be okay. So is that helpful, Harini?
Yes, sir, absolutely.
Sure. And by the way, Capt, that's They Ask, You Answer by Marcus Sheridan. And Divya, since you asked if it's okay, Professor Roy, I hope it's okay. If it's not okay, I will send you this book as a gift. Capt, you can deal with Professor Roy. It'll be my gift to you. I don't even know who Capt is, but I see CAPT Divya. So I don't know who that is, but I'll work with Professor Roy and we'll give some gifts to the students on my dime.
You are giving me so many gifts, Christmas gifts, this gift. So where will I keep all these gifts?
You'll find a way for it.
Raymond, before Harini asks another question, I will request all my viewers, though you know I'm a very bad time manager and I have always given papers and speech to my guests that please stop, we are running short of time. But then today I have just given up. And I am not only even saying that, Harini, that's it, this is the last question. And that's the reason I request my viewers to keep watching just for next 10 minutes because it's very difficult to get Raymond on board because he has said that it takes 1 year to book him, to bring him online. So stay with us for 10 more minutes before we wrap up. I'm sure all of you will agree.
And then we'll see each other in India in a few, hopefully, maybe next year or 2022. But continue, Harini.
So we would love to see you in real life as well, not just online. Okay, so one of the questions, there are a lot of questions coming in, by the way. So one of them is asking, what if people are not rallying around your content? So what should you do then?
And what if people are not?
Rallying around your content.
That's a good question. And that happens sometimes. Listen, I think if people are not rallying around the content, going back to my first two answers, probably you're serving the wrong audience. Let me give you an example, Harini. I was at an event one time and a lovely lady came up to me and said, "Sir, you're talking too loud. You're screaming too loud." Harini, what do you think I told her? What do you think my solution to her was? Guess. I'll just guess. What do you think? I'll give you a hint. Knowing me a bit, how I am, nice guy, but what do you think I told her?
Can I answer?
Yes, please, Professor Roy, please.
I think you must have said, that's my style. Stay tuned, keep watching, I'll continue.
That's exactly what I said. Meaning it was nice, it wasn't rude, but to the point is, let's take me. My style is not for everybody. It's not. And thank you, Professor Roy, you're exactly right. Of course, it was respectful, but I said, "Ma'am, you may want to move back a bit because I'm just starting." So the point is, if people are not rallying around your content, A, you've identified the wrong audience. You follow what I mean? It's like, this is silly, but I know you all understand. It's like me giving Indian chai in Japan. My eyes are closed and I'm like, "Hey, I see a human. This is chai from India. No one wants it." And I open my eyes. Oh, instead of saying namaste, I need to be saying arigato, ai, in Japanese. You see the silly example, right? I'm trying to give biryani and I open my eyes and I realize I'm in Mexico. I need to stop saying, something in Hindi and say, "Hola, ¿cómo está? Me llamo Ramon Aurelio." You need to serve the right audience. So that's usually why people are not rallying around it. And the best example I can give, I hope I'm not offensive. If I am, Professor Roy, let me know. But the best example I can give is the US elections. This is not about who won or lost. The election was so close. Both were almost tied, as it were. So I'm not going there. But meaning, as President Donald Trump, nobody asked for Make America Great. Nobody asked for MAGA and red hats. They brought it to us, if you get what I mean. And I'm sure in India, similar things happen in elections. Nobody asked for, let's have this as our slogan. You decide what that will be, and people who want it come to you. That's the winning formula. Some people, and Harini, and to the Professor Roy and Sarah and the students who've asked that question, you have to be comfortable with not being for everybody. That's the key. You have to be comfortable. Too many times, oh, Sarah said she doesn't like people who wear blue sweaters. Oh no, okay, let me change my sweater. You can't, you go crazy. Sorry, Sarah, you don't like the, teasing, the blue sweater person. Sarah, you go to that door. That's the guy or girl, go there. I'm for blue, Professor Roy likes blue sweater people. So marketing is very similar. You put a stake in the ground. Mercedes-Benz, right? Mercedes-Benz with a car that is quality. Or you have Ford F-150. I'm an American cowboy for Ford. Two different brands.
So, sir, I'd like to ask the next question, and it's slightly different from what we were talking about.
Sure.
It says, how can social media make a difference for the betterment of the society or country in the future as well? And they've mentioned the US elections and Donald Trump's example. So,
Sure, exactly.
So that's
Love the question.
how.
Yeah. And I think, thank you for allowing me to share on it. And again, just to be very, very clear, whether you like President Trump or not like him, not getting there at all. I'm assuming Amity is probably a neutral school. So I'm not going there in the least for those hearing this and recording, not saying that. I just use that as a case to be very clear with the students. Okay. I'm not picking sides, but to talk about communication and making the world better. As I hinted before, Sarah, but I'm going to talk a bit more about it. This is the beauty that we get to do as communication people. As I said, engineers have their job. Doctors have their job. Accountants have our job. There's only one profession, as it were, that can change the world or help change the world. That's us. That's communication people, how we telegraph. So I think students who are listening, the world is full of vile and misery and anger and hate and viciousness and evilness. As you all know, you all are adults. And I think what gets me, I post usually an Instagram and a Facebook story, generally speaking, every day. And it's something, it's just, I get it up. Hey, this is Ramon. Good morning. It's December 17th. I hope you're having a great day. Be well. Bye. Let's start our day. Now that's me. That's my style. And I'm not saying I'm doing it intentionally, but a number of people come back to me and say, Ramon, you're inspiring us. Ramon, we feel comfortable. Ramon, you're getting our day. So my point is, I think that's how we can make the world go a better place. We can't help who says what. We can't help if some, let's take it something similar, bullying, right? I can't help if some girl is bullying Sarah. I can't help that. However, I can be the one to metaphorically, virtually pat Sarah and say, Sarah, you can do it and bring happiness to her day. And imagine if the thousands and thousands of us, all the Amity students, we were just to post a bit more positivity, to be a bit more empathetic, a bit more caring, a bit more smiles in what we do, and even respecting differences, I would say, Sarah and Professor Roy and Harini, right? Professor Roy may like green. Maybe I don't like green. That doesn't mean she's bad. Maybe I like pink. That silly example making. I like pink. That doesn't mean I'm a bad person. We can agree to disagree. So I think that's the beauty of communication and what we have almost an obligation, I think, to do in life.
Thank you, sir.
We'd like to have just one more question and
one more question. Someone has asked, even it's my friend Elvis, and he's asked, can you tell us the importance of humor in communication and tell us a little about implementing humor effectively?
Elvis, thank you. And Elvis, since you're Sarah's friend, sorry, Professor Roy, I'm going to send you a copy of my book too. So, and since you asked the last question. So here's the thing. I may do it digital. We'll see. But point being, humor is not for everyone. That's one. Two, you cannot fake humor. Three, you have to be who you are. You have to be comfortable who you are. However, I think as we all know, everybody loves to smile. Even the most serious person loves to smile. If you've been stopped by the policeman or some person, right, or professor maybe didn't give you such a great grade, you're able to smile. Hey, Professor Roy, how are you? I know you said your office hours closed. Oh, what a lovely dress you have. Oh, thank you so much, Professor Roy. could I take my test again? You know, I'm teasing here, but meaning everybody loves, it's part of humor is part of the attitude, Sarah. I come to Professor Roy. Professor Roy, you said you were open to 11. Why are your office closed? You shouldn't have done this. You get what I'm trying to say, meaning you come like that, she's going to feed. She probably won't. She's a nice professor, but you know what I mean. Humans will feed the same reaction. But the power of humor, Sarah, I found that it's helped me in my career. And I am who I am. I happen to be a person. I don't take myself too seriously. That's me. But I must say it's not appropriate everywhere, right? Some cultures, some organizations may be a bit more serious. So I have to be aware of that. But definitely, Elvis, humor, I think, is powerful. But my caution to the students listening, don't try to fake being humorous. Don't try to fake being who you're not, because that's worse. You know, that's worse. The person, hi, everybody. Why did the dog cross the road? Oh, because the chicken came first. That's stupid. You know, so be who you are.
That was an amazing answer, sir. I loved hearing that, because that was something which I also wanted to ask, and Elvis asked it for me.
And I'll add one thing to that. I know Professor Roy's going to close this out here, but I think the other thing I'll add is that even those of you who aren't humorous, I encourage you to try at least to have a smile. So even though everybody can't be funny or you know, rah, everybody can try to smile more. And especially as communication people, whether we're in front of the camera, proverbially, or behind the camera, a smile goes far. Hi, welcome to Amity. How are you? Thanks for coming. How can I help you? Or, hey, my name is Sarah. We're on Anchor tonight, blah, 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 right? Or whatever it may be. So that's my answer.
Okay, so thank you so much for answering, because I can see Dibjani ma'am being like, we've asked enough questions. So I would really thank you for bearing up with our questions. But
Harini,
there are so many more questions.
Harini, do you have any faculty asking questions? Then you can take one from the faculty.
Sure.
I could see Gauri was asking something, Gauri Malhotra.
And let me see if I see it too.
So the question is, if someone is into blogging, what kind of headlines should they use to attract more audience?
Oh, yes. Headlines are so powerful. And thank you, Professor Gordy, for asking the question. But one, blogging is important. And what I like about blogging, once you do a blog, that blog can be a video, that blog can be a podcast, that blog can be a tweet, that blog can be an image. So there's a lot of things you can do from a blog. So that's one. But I think headlines are powerful. So let's think of something, the news of the day. So today it's snowing here in the New York area. It's snowing, snows all outside. Now, I can say, I don't know, a bad headline could be, snow is coming, get ready, you may fall. Ice, you could do that, you know. But maybe instead, want to break your back? Period. Be careful. Or, you know, something like that, you know. Snow is here, period. Excited, period. So my point, Harini and Professor Gorgi, thank you for asking the question. That's the kind of thing when I think like headlines, it goes back to never forget on social media, what are we all doing? Scrolling. Here's what we're all doing. This is what most people are scrolling. And you want to stop them from scrolling. And a lot of times that happens with a good image or with a good headline to catch attention. I'll give you one last tip, or not last, I can be here as long as you need, but another tip. In English, I'm not good in English, so I think it's talking in the first person means, right? Is that right? If I'm referring to myself, if I type Ramon is here, if I type it, that means first person. Is that what that means? Yeah. Okay. So you type in the first person for some of the things you're writing. For example, if I'm doing a post on Facebook, instead of me saying, I had the pleasure of speaking at Amity University today, because I'm going to talk about this, I'll post about it shortly, I would put, Ramon spoke at Amity University today. I'm thinking like a journalist. Because I don't want the word I to be in Professor Roy's social feed. I want the name Ramon to be in her feed, if you feel me. So it seems weird for me to type my name, but I have to think for her or Sarah. So as Sarah scrolling, I spoke at Amity, they'll figure it out. They can see my face. But isn't it more engaging? Ramon spoke at Amity. That's more engaging.
Yes, sir, definitely. I would like to ask one personal question. Uh, Nowadays, there's so much negativity going around social media. A lot of people are commenting like negative thoughts and like basically just like judging each other. And I just wanted to ask how should we deal with that? Like, is it better to engage with them and try to sort it out, or is it better to just ignore them and hope that it'll just stop on its own, or like to confront them head on?
Mhm. Yeah, good question. One of my friends, another one. So like he has this book I showed you all, and we can, Professor Roy, we can build a little list and invite all these people to India. Another very popular U.S. speaker, his name is Jay Baer, B-A-E-R, Jay Baer. He wears really funny suits. He has a book called Hug Your Haters. And the point of the book is that, so a few things. One, for some people, maybe we should ignore the news. The news may depress you. So maybe some of us, you shouldn't be on social so much, especially those suffering maybe with suicide and other very serious emotional issues. You should probably just fill yourself with more positivity, but especially for business. So Harini, I want you to say to me, just say, Ramon, I don't like your sweater. It's ugly. Go ahead. Tell me that, Harini.
But I do. But okay,
You can do it. Go ahead.
just to go along with it, I don't like your sweater at all. What are you wearing?
Thank you so much, Harini, for sharing it. I appreciate it. Thank you. That's it. Meaning, so the silly example in the aggregate, imagine as a business or getting a lot of these, and this can work personally. Hey, Ramon, your glasses are so ugly on you. Thank you. Or I appreciate it. And you'll see in my Facebook post, that's how I respond. I don't get a lot of bad flames anyhow, but I think we all have a choice. We can be combative and we can fight, right? And we can push, or we can decide just to be a little more humble. And often now in business, remember, often somebody bought the cup, the famous cup example, right? Somebody bought this and they flame me on Twitter. I bought this cup. It came back cracked and it was terrible, not what I ordered. It's not personal. They have a legitimate complaint. So instead of me being angry, you moron, you idiot, who are you to say my cup wasn't good? I can say, oh, Professor Roy, I'm so sorry. One, I'll refund your money. Two, I'll send you 3 new cups, one for you, one for Sarah, and one for Harini. And now when I do that for most people, now Professor Roy is going to be my customer for life. What is she going to tell her friends? Oh, what's up? One of Professor Roy's friends, his name is John. Oh my God, John, I ordered these cups from Ramon. Oh, the cup came wrong, but he sent me 3 cups. Look at the cups. They're so amazing. You get my point. So that's how you handle negativity. And oftentimes you don't have to jab back and be angry back. In most cases, unless your life is in danger, but in most cases, either just be innocuous and smile, just that goes far, or thank you for your concern. That happened to me. And I'll get one last thing I'll say is that I mentioned to somebody that I hope I don't want to offend anybody here, but I mentioned to somebody that I like to drink milk with pancakes. And somebody was vegan, as I understand it, or something. Many people on this call are probably vegan, right? But she was saying something, you shouldn't drink cow's milk. Don't totally understand it, but she was angry. She was very upset at me, but she came nicely. I could have had a debate or tried to, but this lady had a concern. And I said, thank you. And I learned something. I took that feedback and asked some friends, can you tell me this issue about drinking milk? So I hope that it wasn't offending anybody. I'm just sharing a real life example. When I leave my stage, sometimes people come up to me, Ramon, you said this, I didn't like it. Thank you. If they're saying it nicely, my answer is always thank you, because I can learn. I can always learn.
Thank you so much, sir. That actually helped a lot.
It's a pleasure.
There's one more question. It's not really related to social media, but
No problem.
they're asking how can one enhance his or her confidence in the conversation and the way they speak without.
Harini, I think Raymond will not give me a date anytime in next 1 year if you do like that.
I will. I promise we'll have a date. Should I answer this question, Professor Roy?
Please, my pleasure.
Okay. So the answer, I think it's a great question, Harini. What I'm hearing, the question is about confidence. And I think the best way to build confidence is to practice. This is the best way. For those of you who have a desire, let's say, to do public communication, your first interview, Harini, okay, it's good. You're going to be nervous and screw up, and right? And Professor Roy can probably attest to this. She's in this field, right? But the more and more you do it, your 5th interview, your 10th interview, your 30th or 50th, oh, next time, let me do this. Next time, let me do this. Let you feel. So I think it's a great question, but the best way to get better is to, oftentimes, Harini, I think that the biggest challenge we have is our own heads. We give ourselves negative thoughts and we don't give ourselves permission to fail. This is the biggest challenge. So those of you, Professor Roy, for example, she says, hey, I'll pick a name from random here. She says, let's say Kuber. Kuber, can you do this? And Kuber says, oh, no, Professor, no, don't call me. Professor Roy can't do anything about that. She gave you the chance. You said no. So the best way, and Kuber, I'm just teasing you. I don't know who you are. Kuber Raj Bordoloi. Okay, good.
My student.
Oh, good. So good. So my point being, that's your job, right? Is to say yes to opportunity and then to practice, to take feedback and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So thank you, Harini. That's my advice.
Thank you, sir.
We have so many other questions, sir, but we are not going to pester you anymore. I would just request ma'am to give us your email ID so we can at least transfer those questions or direct those questions to your
Sure.
mail.
No problem.
Sure, I'll share.
Thank you so much, sir. And I would ask and request Devjani ma'am to present the vote of thanks.
Indeed.
Vote of thanks. Oh my God, what a tough job. Raymond? Before I convey my vote of thanks, Raymond, you were talking about the collaboration. So my students, my teachers, my fraternity, they are all watching you. So can you please share with them so that we can pursue further? As you said, I'm passionate. Can you please do?
Sure. My thinking, I was just saying that, listen, whether we do this kind of forum again online, which I'm happy to do with the same students or new students, there's all kind of topics. And I think that we don't want to be, I know we're talking about communication, but as I know, Professor Roy, part of communication is being a good leader. Part of communication is understanding business. So I was just offering that, hey, I'm happy to join again online, or we can plan a big event in India, maybe the first in-person event that we do maybe the fall of next year. So that's what I was offering, that if I can help in some way.
And we look forward also for the collaboration that we were discussing
Sure.
on any communication projects where we can include our faculty and students.
Happy to. We can go online and email a bit and discuss that. But yes, happy to serve and help and support for sure. Yes.
And as always, I burgeon your calendar and you always give me time. So I hope you will give me time. You'll not make me hang for next 1 year.
Absolutely. I would do that. No problem.
Okay. So vote of thanks, Raymond. I don't know how should I thank you? Because 2 hours, oh God. And we never realize sometimes when we have our own audience and we have campus lectures, our students start looking at watch that when is it going to, I think, and everyone is writing on my WhatsApp and everywhere that ma'am session is amazing. Please continue further. So
it's an honor. We'll have to have part 2, a second session.
Of course. So Raymond, on behalf of Joint Heads, my faculty colleagues, my students, all members of Amity School of Communication family, we extend a warm gratitude and also thank you for giving time. As I said, I barged in your calendar and asked for a date. Okay. And yes, thank you you said it will be a Christmas gift for me. I never know that gift will be so expensive. And our institute and university look forward to meet you in person when you come to India after this COVID trauma goes out. And we look forward to meet you. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Harini. Thank you, Rahul Suri and Puneet for all your, because Raymond, even if we are in studio, even if we have a good anchor, good content, good information, back support is very important.
It is. Yes. And I'm glad you said that, because I think that people forget about that. We just see the pretty, oftentimes, male or female anchor, the person like we are, right? We're up, the four of us have the limelight, have the camera. But as you said, there's a whole, the communication industry is huge. You take a book like this, there's a person who wrote it, but somebody has to design it. Somebody has to sell it. Somebody has to copyright it. Somebody has to edit it, just even in books. So camera, the person on front is just one part of a whole team. But it's been an honor to be here, Professor Roy. Amity always has good thoughts in my heart. And you students, keep the Amity name polished, as you all already do, as Sarah and Harini, as students have done in supporting Professor Roy. I think the highest of the students of Amity, and definitely professors like Professor Roy, I think definitely have a good, or a good ambassadors for the school. So Professor Roy, thank you for your hard work and emailing me and texting me and preparing me. I appreciate it. And I hope you and I continue our friendship over the years. So thank you.
You have just shattered my quality of bad time manager and stopping and sending chats, and that time is over and you can't continue. Please stop and hand over to which I have not done for your case. So, and our three continent students will be visiting New York, and of course, as I said, we'll also invite you in our Long Island campus.
Sure.
To come and interact, and if some student also ask your email, as I said, we'll share questions.
Anytime.
And take your time and answer, and I'll share with my students